like a craft beer through a pint glass. These are the gays of our lives. A show where Lisa and Avery get out their gay decoder rings to decipher the gay alphabet and bridge the gap between the older and younger LGBTQ community and everyone fucking else. And now here are your hosts, Lisa and Avery. Don't blame them.
Hey guys, it's Lisa.
And Avery.
And today on The Gays of Our Lives,
We have Miss Ida K.
It's me! Hi!
how fabulous is she?
I'm just,
Or they.
It's just a little something. It's a little something. You know, I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm gonna be beautiful today. And so then I put on a little, lip gloss and, grew my hair out really, really fast.
Yeah, you barely even had to work at it.
Barely anything.
Yeah.
Barely anything. No,
probably
I didn't get up at like 7 a.m. It's fine.
We may or may not have received a message that said, I'm ready early if that's okay with you guys.
Somebody was a little excited.
I was!
Well, I'm excited because the minute
I know.
Lisa said, I think they're in drag, I'm like, yes!
You walked past the window and I was like, I think that's our guest.
What gave it away? Was it it wasn't the hairline because that's not visible, but was it big coat? Was it the 7-inch heels?
7-inch heels.
It was that? Okay, that one.
I think the pink. I think the bright pink hair.
The bright pink hair, it could have been the feeling of existential fear from walking outside in drag. That too, but we're good.
Do you have that though?
No.
I don't believe that's a thing.
I was going to say, when you walk down Market Street like that, do you worry about anybody saying anything?
Not really. I'm a very strong person, physically and mentally, so I don't really. It doesn't really bother me that much. It doesn't faze me. It used to. I've been doing this for so long that it doesn't really do much to me anymore. If someone says anything, I'm like, hi, hello.
How long have you been dressing in drag?
It'll be 5-6 years. My fiance says that it's 5. I say it's closer to 6. So somewhere in between there. I started out in Indianapolis, still based here. My name when I started was Ida Killed a Bitch. I'm part of the bitch family. So Heather B, aka Heather Bitch, Regina Bitch, all of them. Those are all my drag family. And I, for a while, was like, I love this name. It's like angsty, it's fun, but I associate that Ida as a much different character than this Ida. Okay. Very, very different people, very, very different aesthetics. I'm a lot calmer.
What?
I know.
Ida.
I know.
Calm.
We were just talking before we started about how they were excited that I had so much energy. And yes, if you believe it, I used to have more energy. When I started drag, I was a lot younger than what I am now. I've learned to stop saying I was really young because apparently I still am.
You get in your 30 and it's still not acceptable.
Yeah, that's not what my body says though. So when I was a lot younger, I started, and I was very sarcastic. I'm a very sarcastic person in general, but before I started drag, it was a lot of like angsty sarcasm. Like it wasn't funny sarcasm, and I thought that translated into drag. Side note, it doesn't. It doesn't at all, not at all. And so that's kind of where the name Ida Killed a Bitch came from. And when you guys remember when the Hard Rock was right down the road?
Yeah.
So we did a show there. I think this was like 2 years into me doing drag, and obviously it's a family-friendly establishment. I couldn't have the name Ida Killed a Bitch. And so I was thinking about switching my name for like pageantry and stuff. Anyway, that didn't pan out. But they had me switch my name to Ida K, and at first it was just Ida and then K, the like initial, and I was like, oh, well, I guess this is just a sign that I need, and I just kept it.
Yeah.
I just kept it, and here I am, and if you don't remember it, it's okay, because Ida K either.
Well, okay, so the first question I have kind of came from what you were talking about. So what makes a drag family? What makes you family with them? How did that start?
That's a complex. You got deep real fast.
Oh,
right?
sorry. I can rewind real quick.
No, I love going deep real fast. So all right, we're gonna go. So There are many different ways that you can kind of describe a drag family. The way that mine happened was the typical, like, someone helps you get into drag for your first time. That is by definition your drag mother.
Mother, yep.
And then if that drag mother helps other people, those become your drag siblings. So Heather B is my drag mother, and then I have several other siblings. So Blair St. Clair from RuPaul's Drag Race is my drag sister. She's my baby sister. Then Brentley Bitch is my drag brother. Straight Tequila. She now lives in Florida, is my drag sister.
Regina?
Regina is my drag grandmother. And Jared is my drag brother. And then Sissy Rose and, oh, that's bad. Oh, who am I missing?
Oh, family reunions are going to be so awkward.
So
next
awkward.
Year.
I'm glad I'm not bringing the potato salad. Oh,
Have you ever
God.
thought of
Okay,
doing
there's one more that I'm forgetting, and you know who you are, and I'm sorry, okay? I'm looking you straight in the camera. I'm sorry. And my phone is off right now for professional purposes, otherwise I'd look it up. God, I'm envisioning the face. That's so bad. But anyway, so my drag family, and we're one of the biggest drag families in the state, so it just branches off and off and off.
I saw a show, and I honestly don't watch much TV, and I can't remember what it was, but it had, they were taken in, okay, this was the drag
Misty
mother.
Lux. I'm sorry. Misty Lux. That's her name.
There
okay,
it is.
Continue. Oh my God. I'm sorry, Misty. Continue. You're watching a show.
Yeah, and they were like, this kid was starting to drag, and the mother came in and brought him into her house.
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about help me. I love
Pose?
that. Yes.
Was it Pose? I've only seen. Okay, I started watching it, and I'd only seen it, so it's like that.
So
really.
Pose is So Pose is it is indicative of the Vogue ball underground culture that started way back. I'm for sake of being wrong, I'm not going to say the year, but basically it introduces a lot of Black, Latinx, trans individuals who really didn't have anywhere to go. And that is when houses were, really getting started. In that time, it was literally a house.
Yeah.
Like, they brought you in, you lived together. And that's kind of where drag families kind of branched off of. But that's where it started. Hi. That's where it started. Everyone looks. I'm just like, hello. Oh my God, I love her jacket. I like your jacket. Oh my God, you're so welcome. So that's kind of where that started. And you're right. That's, that is one way that drag families.
So when you said that with your drag family, I was like, oh, so it really is like.
It really is. Okay. It really is. Now, there's other ways of having drag families. A lot of my really good friends are in what's called the House of Stoner. For very good
So is
reason.
Lisa.
I really enjoy hanging out with them.
I don't smoke. I don't know what you're talking about.
I really enjoy hanging out with them. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, punch, punch. They are there is like drag mothers, drag sisters, they're in there, but it's a conglomerate of friends who have like-minded ideas who, created a house based off their ideologies of drag. The fact that they are all really good friends and they are all fucking phenomenal entertainers. Oh my God, can I cuss?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We haven't gotten in trouble yet. So.
They are all amazing, phenomenal entertainers, but there are several different ways that you can kind of define a drag family.
That's cool to know that even in Indianapolis, it has the drag families like that.
Well, and it branches out the way it does. Like,
Yeah.
I had no clue about any of that.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Okay, so when you're not in drag, how do you identify?
So I identify as a non-binary individual, and my pronouns, I prefer they, them, but if that's too hard for people to understand, I'm like at work. I work for Akira in Castleton Square Mall. I'm one of the managers there. It's a clothing store. And it's not that they aren't queer friendly, because they absolutely are. I feel so 100% like it's a safe space.
Yeah.
But it's when you are in a heteronormative world, they non-binary, trans, everything like that doesn't click immediately sometimes.
Right.
So I'm just like, you know what? him, she, her. I'll just take whatever,
Right.
but I prefer they, them. But I'm very, very blessed that in, my day life, I work for a place that's very, very queer accepting. But that's kind of how I identify.
So can you explain a little bit of the non-binary? Because we've, that's one of them that we've struggled with, I think, in the community, not our community, but out in the community.
Yeah.
People have trouble with, okay, you have to be a male or a female. That's where I think they struggle.
We love normative culture. Love the binary. It's my best friend. Just kidding. So everyone has their own kind of like definition of what non-binary is to them. Some people think it doesn't fall under a trans umbrella. Some people think it does. I think that it definitely falls under a trans umbrella because it falls outside of the binary. Now, when you are defining binary, it is male, cis female, that is the binary. Anytime you fall out of that binary, whether you are a trans male, a trans female, trans male, trans female, wow, they have no idea what we're talking about. That was great. A trans male, trans female, non-binary, intersex, like whatever the case may be, that's when you kind of fall out of that binary, as I said. I'm talking in circles. But to me, non-binary, like when I realized that I was different, in the sense of I always thought I identified as a cis male, was when I wasn't comfortable. The first time I ever heard someone say, oh, he has this, I felt out of nowhere very, very uncomfortable. Very, very, very uncomfortable. I was like, this doesn't feel right. And so I kind of went through a little exploration because that's when I was doing drag about 4 or 5 times a week. I was like, am I a trans woman? And like, what is going on? I didn't think that I was, but I was like, is that why I'm uncomfortable? Like you kind of have to really take a look back and think about that. And I realized that I wasn't, and I realized that I didn't really fall into the binary of male or female. I don't identify as someone who, yes, I was biologically born a male, but I don't feel like a male. And I also don't feel like a female. Now, on certain days, I may want to identify as more of a hyper feminine person, or some days I may want to identify as more of a hyper masculine person. And I'm still to this day kind of going back and forth of like, okay, what's more comfortable for me? But it's really it's the reason why it's kind of hard to explain non-binary as a term, at least for me. I don't know about others, but at least for me, is because it's more so a feeling. It's more so a feeling of, I know I'm not a trans female, and I know that I'm not a cis male, but I fall somewhere in this gray area of neither one of those definitions seem to fit me. And that's kind of why I enjoy drag and, looking the way that I do. I like to think that the reason why I start painting more as a cis female, like doing my face as more of a cis female, is because it kind of makes me feel a little more comfortable with where I'm at in the binary.
Yeah.
So when you dress for work, you don't dress like this, do you?
Sometimes.
Do you? They allow you to dress in drag.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
They fucking love it.
That's good.
It's literally,
That's so cool.
like I said, it literally depends on the day. Some days, we are very fashion forward. We're not like a Charlotte Russe. We're not like a Rue 21. We're not like a Forever 21, anything like that. We really are it's a Chicago-based company, so we're really, really fashion forward. And a lot of the things that I buy from my work, I'll buy for drag, but I will wear outside of it. I will wear in my everyday life. Like, I'll wear like flowy skirts. I'll wear flowy shirts. I'll wear crop tops. I always wear high-waisted pants. That's just because, I like to eat. And it's not the 90s. Low-waisted pants are out. But like this dress that I'm wearing right now, I would easily wear, or plan to actually wear, with jeans the next time I go into work. It's like, I don't mind dressing in that kind of like androgynous middle ground type thing. So they absolutely don't care.
So non-binary is kind of more of the androgynous than maybe you would say?
That is a way of defining it.
Is that kind of?
That is a way of defining it. Like I said, it really depends on who you're speaking with.
The individual.
Admittedly so, I'm not incredibly educated on it. Admittedly so. I'm still doing research every day to kind of find where I fall in that, and consulting with a lot of my friends who are either a trans male, trans female, or have been out as non-binary longer than I have. For me, it's only been a couple years. You know, I came out as a queer person, God, when I was 17. Okay, that was public, but to me it was like 12. That was, you know, we go through that like bisexual phase, and you're like, oh, I'm bi, I like both, and then you're like, oh no, I just like
the
one.
younger generation does. Yeah, for sure.
And
You just gotta surf through what you like.
You got to explore your options.
Yeah.
You want to make sure your palate's all nice. So there's a lot of children walking past, and we are talking about, you know what? That's
They
fine.
need to learn.
They need to learn. You're going to learn today. Please don't fall down that grate. I will be so sad. He just turned around.
Anyways.
Anyway. I have really bad ADHD. So
God, between you and Lisa, we're never gonna finish an episode.
that's okay. That's fine. It'll be the most entertaining episode ever. But I only came out as non-binary a couple years ago. And and I also came out as pansexual a few years ago. And that kind of happened all in like one like mental breakdown. I was just like, you know what? We gonna figure this all out today. It's gonna be fine. And I have an amazing fiance who's been very supportive and very accepting. So I'm very, very lucky.
Your fiance, a male or a female?
Cisgendered male.
Okay.
Cisgendered
Okay.
male. We've been together on March 8th, it will be 4 years of being together. And on March 8th, it'll also be 1 year of engagement.
Oh, so congratulations.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
congratulations.
Definitely.
Thank you.
So, go ahead.
So going back to, I really just want to reflect on what you just said. Do you think being pansexual was better helped you identify as non-binary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because when I realized that I did not feel, when I realized I didn't feel comfortable with a male identifying pronoun, I was like, okay, but I like guys. What's going on? And then I started thinking, I was like, I've in my life not only ever just found guys attractive.
Yeah.
Sexually.
Right.
Like I can connect with anyone on an emotional level, but I've only, like, to myself, ever been just like, you know, I don't just find guys attractive, but like that's kind of where I felt like I had to go.
Yeah.
It was kind of the road that I kind of had to explore. So when I kind of came to terms with the fact I started doing research about pansexuality and just kind of being attracted to the person and not necessarily like their genitalia, it really opened the door, and I was like, okay, I don't have to seclude myself in this four-walled box, which troubled me for a lot of years. So I was really, you're absolutely correct, that coming out as pansexual really kind of helped develop that feeling of being non-binary.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, because really it wasn't until I was trans myself that I realized, like, you know, like, yes, I'm only like attracted to women, but like I have been attracted to men before, and it's funny how you like really feel that pencil together and you really find yourself.
Well, and I have a lot of not a lot. I have some lesbian friends that they will have sex with men, and it's just sex. There's no emotion or anything there. It's just to get laid.
Yeah.
Which I never been like that.
Sometimes
And
your
I can't
vibrator
do that.
runs out of battery.
Well, and I can't be like that.
Been there.
But they identify as lesbians because that's the only one that they can actually be with and have a relationship with is another woman. But they can just, for the reasons of getting off, be with a man.
And that is, and I don't think that makes anyone. Now, I'm not here to define.
Oh, no, I'm not.
I don't think it makes them any less of a lesbian or any more of someone who is bisexual or pansexual, whatever the case may be.
Correct.
I do think. I do believe in, like, you know, free love and just, you know, be with whoever you want to be with. Like that. That's all cool and dandy. You know, I have a lot of friends who are pan, poly, and just are like, you know what? If
Hearts, not parts.
Yeah, there you go. You could. Cheers.
We have a great pin at home that says that on our corporate.
Yeah, hearts, not parts. So, well, you know, I mean, a lot of people come out as bi at first, kind of soften the blow. You I think did, didn't you?
100, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mean anything by this, but is non-binary in any way a stepping stone to being trans? Or is it something that you are and you are that forever? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
A little bit. I think I'm going to be...
And I don't know. I'm
going to
asking.
be very, very honest with you. I am not incredibly sure. I don't really think I have a good answer for that because I don't know enough about it. What I will say is being bi and being non-binary, it's like comparing apples to oranges because one is sexuality, one is gender.
Well, yes,
so,
exactly.
I don't think that you necessarily have to be one to be another. I've also met non-binary individuals who only identify as hypermasculine. Like they were cis male like biologically born at birth, and they still to this day just dress as a hypermasculine person. And they, you would think that they are a cis presenting male, kind of like how I am on my hypermasculine days, but that's just what they are. Nothing ever changed about them, and not that it had to, but nothing ever changed about them because it's all internal. It's how they are feeling on the inside, and I think it falls under the trans umbrella, but I don't think it is necessarily a way to... I don't know a good way to say that. I'm going to be very honest with you.
I didn't know if that was something you think maybe later on, because you like dressing in drag. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if that would be something that later on that you might, and I don't know. I'm asking.
I think it's definitely dependent on the situation and on the person.
Is it?
It's
definitely and everybody's different.
Yeah.
I think.
Like for me, I 100% believe that I'm not cis because I don't fall within that binary, but I am not a trans female. I 100% know that. Now, I know there have been friends that I have in my life that have come out as non-binary, and then that helped them kind of explore who they were as a person to then get them to
that
either
was
being...
my question.
Oh, okay.
Kinda, I guess
got you.
I didn't know necessarily...
So yeah, I know of people who have had that be a helpful experience, kind of like bisexuality into homosexuality.
That's what it might, yeah.
Okay, got you. So,
sorry.
No, you're okay.
Didn't say it right.
No, you're completely fine. So I do know people who that has helped them, of course.
I just questioning because
I think, imagine like, especially now that we can do that in our generations, like in like with how things are publicly, like
and be able to
you
explore
can surf those different labels and you can try and see how things fit on you. Like lesbian was like the second label I had, you know what I mean? And then and then you transition into something else. And like really like, so like, you're all going through stuff all the time. So it's to a point where it's like, it's almost like, it's like we said, like, you realize you're pansexual, then like a more bigger you comes out. I mean, in 2 years, who knows? Like you could have a bigger, wider envelope of who you are.
You're constantly evolving as a person.
Yeah.
Sexuality and gender are constantly evolving. And I think you're correct. As it does become more accepted in the heteronormative community that we, ultimately do live in, as being people of a queer background, I think that we are becoming more accepted in that community, and I think it does help us. We don't have to necessarily be so afraid to explore those opportunities. Now, there are still communities, that we still to this day have to fight for, like our trans brothers and sisters who are presenting as trans, and they are not safe. And I think that we non-binary people. And individuals who are not actively presenting as a trans, either female to male or male to female, I think we have a certain kind of privilege that we have to acknowledge, being like, you know what? I'm quote unquote unclockable, so I don't have anything to worry about. Whereas I have individuals who are trans female presenting who they have to worry about their lives every single day. And I have to acknowledge that privilege, that even though I'm not a cisgendered individual, I am not a female presenting trans individual.
Yeah.
So,
that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. And I think that regardless of the fact that we are becoming more accepted, we still do have to be very, very, very aware of of protecting our individuals who are female to male, male to female.
Oh, absolutely.
All at the same time. But you are correct. It does allow us to have that exploration, that freedom of exploration to kind of see where we want to go or see where our gender really takes us, whether it's staying in the binary or outside the binary.
That's what I've had from the cisgender community that I'm friends with and stuff that have had the most questions on is the non-binary. And that's why I ask, because it is it's the newer one that a lot of us are more confused about, because it's so much newer that a lot of us aren't very well educated on it.
Well, I mean, there's so much, that's really also, it's the newest and it's also the broadest, because there's so many ways to define, like, you know, just like they said, like, to identify as non-binary.
Yeah. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's like I understand what you say when you say it's the newer, but people have always been non-binary, but people are more open about it. So, you know, the research is there, the individuals have always been there, but now there may be a term to help them define it, which helps them to kind of navigate those waters. Because when you have a term for something, yes, it quote unquote defines it, but when you have a term for something, when you say, oh my God, that's what that is, kind of like before we come out as queer people, we're like, why, like, I had no idea what gay was.
Yeah.
So I was just like, why do I like men? What is going on? Why is this? And then I found out what gay was, and I was like, oh my God, having that term helps you define that. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a newer, but I think it's more
the term itself.
Yes, the term itself is newer. And the reason why I bring that up is it's such a sensitive topic, and especially that's why, you know, when I said I was very open that I don't know much about it, and that's kind of why I'm like thinking through my sentences, because it is the information itself is newer, but the individuals are not. And I think that's, you kind of have to be able to separate those almost in a way, because those individuals, they may have felt a certain way for all of their life, but now that there's a word to define it, their feelings and experiences can now come forth. And I think that as it becomes more accepted in a heteronormative community, I think we'll see more of that. And I think it will be easily explained as the years go on, you know?
That makes total sense.
That's 100% important conversation to have, because, you know, it's something Lisa and I used to talk about, where she'd say, you know, why do we have these labels? And she'd be like, because we ask, what is that? What is that? What is that? All the time. But also, like, you're right, it's important to have those terms and have it separated from how long the individuals have been in existence, because that's just how ignorance spreads. And and honestly, I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because in reality, like, you're right, I totally would just like let that be, like, because honestly in my head, like, it is a newer thing, but it's not. It's just a newer term.
It's a newer term.
And now that and I grew up in a very small, everyone was hetero town, so that definitely to me was new still.
I'm
and
from Fisher, so I understand.
I'm from Carmel.
So oh my God, they're neighbors. So I get you, totally understand. Like, I grew up and I was one of two gay people in my school, and we were dating. So
well, you know, your options are limited.
So my options were very, very limited.
Oh, that's not your fiance though, right?
No, that's not my fiance. My options were limited, and the internet wasn't that popular yet. So
no, same thing. Because and you know, for me, like, everybody who was out, they were ostracized. So I sealed that closet shut. I got cement. I got my caulk. I was in there.
I got my caulk many a times, but I mean, I'm not going to talk about that.
That blows my mind, as young as you guys are, that you still had to do that. Because I mean, I just came out and was just like,
we're in that cusp generation where all of a sudden Glee came out, and then I mean, there's more than Glee, but you know what I mean. Like that wave came through of acceptance. If you're not a Glee fan.
Okay, so next.
You could have used you could have used High School Musical.
Well, I can't say Ellen, because that was so much long before that, when I was in high school.
Like L Word or like Queer as Folk or anything like that.
I'm sorry, you're right. I should have used L Word, because that's what I watched first. I watched L Word before I did Glee.
I love Queer as Folk's what helped me come out, honestly. Oh my God, that helped. That was my show. Like, that was like...
I watched it every Sunday.
Oh, my God. When I found out...
There's a British and an American version, right?
I didn't like the British one as much. Which is weird, because have you ever seen Skins?
Yeah, Skins is so much better from England.
Oh, my God. So good. We just watched... we just watched the entire first season, and I'm making us take a break, because after that season finale, I'm like...
And every season finale will do that to you.
Oh,
spoiler alert!
Love that. Yeah, love that energy.
You will be haunted, and you will need a week to recoup, and then. But I love that.
Love that energy. But yeah, no. Queer as Folk's really what helped me come out. Like, I remember my parents were stupid and got me a DVR in my room and did not expect me to like
a DVR that they couldn't see what you recorded. Oh God!
They didn't expect me to like explore.
And
So
Queer
like
Hotel
when
was,
that
like, a
when that like
premium.
pay-per-view like midnight, you know, straight porn, softcore porn wasn't playing, I was like, what can I find? And I saw Queer as Folk and I was like, queer, I know this word. And I played it and I opened it up and they were dancing at Babylon and then it cut to a scene in the back room and I'm like, oh, that's what that does. Oh, okay. And you know, it helped me to explore what I was feeling inside, and I would watch it religiously every single day. And I thought my parents would be so mad at me if they caught it. So like as soon as I hear my dad come up the stairs, I changed to like, I don't know, like SpongeBob or something. I don't fucking know. Cartoon
Improvement.
Network, Toonami, I don't know.
That blows my mind because I was in an 8-year relationship at that point. I mean, I had been out for forever by the time Queer as Folk came out, and that helped you, you know, to come out. That just wow.
And I think it's really I think it's really cool that we have a lot of acceptance and we have like Drag Race and everything like that. But there's still people. When I think about it, like you said, you had L Word, I had Queer as Folk, and
Well, really, I had Glee, but we'll look away from that really quick.
I will toss this iPad. You're only gonna look a hard left away. So God, I hated that show so much. And I was a musical kid too, so I really was excited for it. But anyway, I just think, and I'm like, do kids these days have a show like that? And I'm thinking like, yeah, they have Drag Race in the modern queer. I have the straight guy. But I'm like, do they really have a show like Queer as Folk or like L Word or anything like that?
Modern Family, right?
Well, but do they need it nowadays? You know what I mean? Because it's
or Once Upon a Time, there's a girl who's dating a non-binary person, and they have to come up with a different name for this person because she's like, well, you're not my girlfriend, and you're not my boyfriend, and you're not my significant other, and then they end up calling her a significant other because their name is Sid. So they are Sid. Look at that
face. Do you see this? Do you see this face?
But I think nowadays though it's more accepted that I don't know if they need those kind of shows like you used to have.
But I think we are thinking in the spectrum of, yes, in Indianapolis we're a big city, and we're thinking in the spectrum of big cities. I'm thinking for the people who are in small towns and maybe don't have those resources. Like they may know about Drag Race, but they don't know what drag is, so that doesn't really help them as a queer person. I had no idea. Like you have to think like I go back to the statement of privilege because we are so privileged as queer people in a community where we know that we're accepted.
Yeah.
There are still individuals out there who are facing what we would have faced 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, so like I said, I work in Castleton Square Mall and I come across a lot of young queer people. And sometimes a conversation comes up about TV and everything like that. And there's people who don't even know what Queer as Folk is. And I'm just like, that helped pave the way for so many different things to be on the air, you know? Like, and I just like, I tell them, I'm like, go on Netflix, binge watch a season.
It's funny because
it's worth it.
They don't know anything about Ellen except for her talk show. They don't know the Ellen show.
Man, how many people haven't seen the puppy episode?
When I grew up.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, and I really hope that a show comes out that is not just, yes, there's queer people on the TV, but like really exploring queer culture, like outside of the sex and provocative nature that Queer as Folk was. It explored queer culture.
True.
And I don't think we have a show, and I hope to God that in the coming years that something comes out that explores queer culture as it is or as it was, and it isn't a documentary.
Right.
You know?
No,
People want something they can relate to.
Well, and I think queer culture has changed a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's more mainstream and mixed in with the cisgender culture, I think, more.
Absolutely.
Especially like the Metro, you know. I mean, it's, you know, and the culture is not like it used to be. So I don't know if they necessarily are needing taught as much about it. 'Cause
That's true.
You know, does that make
That's true.
sense? You know?
I don't know.
No,
I just want the best for them, okay?
I agree with you. I'm just saying.
There's nothing left on Netflix.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing to watch. There really isn't. There really isn't anything to watch.
And then Hulu is just as dead. I'm just like, oh my God.
Hulu's been dead.
Hulu, did it ever come alive?
Man, well, they tried. They really tried.
Really?
They hired some big names and they tried.
And then it failed. And then there's Rachel Ray somewhere still using a garbage bowl on Food Network. Anyway, continue.
Oh my God.
I can't with you.
Poor Rachel Ray.
Poor Rachel Ray with her GB.
Hey guys, it's Lisa with The Gays of Our Lives, and this week's episode is sponsored by my own CBD line through Denver CBD. It's actually the first one in town here that has vitamin D in it, and it's also helping with different causes. The strawberry flavor, 5% goes to cancer support community. The orange flavor, 5% goes to the National MS Society. Use my code LISA20 and get 20% off your order.
Her GB.
So how often do you perform in drag?
If you had asked me about 6 months ago, it was 4 to 5 times a week. Because I had an 8 to 4:30 job and I could perform pretty much whenever I wanted. That was also a time when Ida was supporting Josh. Josh was not supporting Ida. So I was making bad money at my old job. Like I was making bad money at my old job and Ida was bringing in a lot of the bread. Now that I'm at Akira, I'm making a lot more money.
Yeah.
So now it's probably like 1 to 4 times a month. This has been my busiest month. I was at Baby's Brunch. You guys been to Baby's?
Yes,
Babies.
I've been to Babies, and we had
Babies.
Spaz on.
I love Babies so much. That is the Hamburger Mary's of Indianapolis. I fucking love that place.
I agree.
But I performed there this month. I had another show last Saturday. I'm here today, and then I'm at Zoni's Closet Friday and Saturday this weekend. And that's the busiest month I've had. Like next month, I think I have like 1 or 2 shows booked.
Do you travel, like you were doing 4 to 6 nights a week? You couldn't do that in Indy. You had to travel.
Look at that dog.
Oh. Sorry, guys.
I love your dog so much. Anyway, continue. Yes, I was traveling.
So it's like us with comedy, you know, we drive 2 hours to do a 5-minute set. I mean,
Yeah.
The difference was you get paid.
Yeah.
I say, are we allowed to accept tips? Though?
And that's skeptical sometimes. But I was traveling a lot. I have performed all over the Midwest. I've performed in every bar that has drag in Indianapolis or in Indiana in general. I have performed at every bar, starting from the Chicagoland area, going all the way to Evansville. I've been to all of them. I have been to almost everywhere in Columbus, Ohio, almost everywhere in Cincinnati. I've been to, when it was, rest in peace, but Mask in Dayton. I've been to
Play.
I've not performed at Play, but I've been to Play.
We love Play.
I would love that's a dream goal of mine. I've performed Bloomington, Illinois, Peoria, Illinois, Decatur, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Oak Park, Illinois. I was on cast at Hamburger Mary's, Oak Park, and Hamburger Mary's Chicago, which in Andersonville. I've been to Berlin in Chicago. I've been to Hydrate, Hamburger Mary's. And then last August, I flew to Texas to perform, and I was in Texas for about 5 days.
What is the mecca city of drag, you think?
Oh, that is
like for us, it's like LA or New York.
It depends on
for
what you're
comedy.
looking for.
I think that's the same with comedy. I think it depends on what flavor you're
It depends
looking
on what kind of how you like your drag. If you like artsy, fartsy, no, let me rephrase this. If you like an eclectic style of drag where you can find literally anything, New York, absolutely, hands down. You can find anything you want in New York, and same for Chicago. You can find anything in Chicago, anything in New York. If you want pageant drag, if you want like old school, big, giant, a typical drag queen, like when you envision a drag queen, you think the big hair, big costumes, everything.
Right,
Florida,
the character.
Florida, Texas. Oh yes.
Really?
Oh, they don't play. They don't. So I showed up in Texas with this kind of hair. You know, she's nice, she's human. I made her myself, and like my cute little costumes. And they were coming out with this big old like hair, and I was like, I feel like I'm all of 5 pounds, and it feels great, just by the measure itself. And if you want the most opportunities, not in just one city, I would say probably LA, or not LA, California, because not only is California huge, so by nature there's more opportunities, but in each city there's so many opportunities. So it really depends on what you're looking for.
So is drag something that could be a long-term career?
Absolutely. Play your cards right, and obviously the ones who get on Drag Race, their career is set for them, should they choose to take that path. Right. Should they... I've known many of people who were on Drag Race. I was almost on Drag Race. So I know plenty of people who have told me, you know, it's all of what you make about your experience while you're there and how you choose to go after that after the show has aired. Because there's people who are on it who just go back to performing in their local bars, which is fine. That's the prerogative. Cool, what they want to do. Right. But like people, I'll use Blair, my sister, as an example. She's made a huge name for herself, coming out with her second album this year, had a first album, and you know, she was like middle of the pack on season 10. So yeah, but it's all about what you make. And then we use, you know, Vanjie as an example, who was eliminated first, and you know, I'm sure she's not a millionaire, but you know what, damn it, she makes more than I do. But for those of us that are not fortunate enough to be on Drag Race, it's really about marketing, and it's really about social media, at least in today's day and age. And then also, like, another way to kind of build yourself up is to really invest in pageantry and really become a big name in pageantry, so that way people know who you are. You're able to travel, and you're able to get to all of these different outlets through that. Yeah, like for example, at Zoni's Closet, the house queen Alana Steele, she has a day job, but she is also able to sustain herself on just doing drag, and that's, to me, is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, she really made a name of with herself in pageantry. So respectable. And then you think of people like, for example, T-Rex in Chicago. She doesn't perform. She hosts Berlin every single weekend. She doesn't have a day job, and all she does is drag, and that's just because she worked hard, she networked, she knew the right people, she knew what to do with her opportunities. And
network is everything.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I would love, like, a lot of people know who I am, and I would love the opportunity to later on in life be able to explore what it's like to just have drag. Just, you know, I don't think that's really possible staying in one city.
That's what I was wondering. Where would, you know, if that's your ideal, where would you end up, you think?
I've tossed this idea around a couple times. I would like to preface with, I plan on staying with my company that I'm at for like ever. But we do have a lot of locations in Chicago because we're Chicago based. So I'm not saying I would like to end up in Chicago, but you know, I've tossed this idea around a lot. And I really think that I'd probably settle in like a Chicago atmosphere, but I would not want to live downtown. Absolutely
like
not.
In the burbs.
Yeah, like the burbs, like something like that. Like performing in Chicago as much as I did for as long as I did, I would not want to live downtown. That is too much work, that's too much effort, it's too expensive. Holy shit. Absolutely not. But
it's not like downtown Indy, that's for sure.
Oh gosh, no.
No, not even close.
No, not at all. No. Their Boys Town is bigger than our downtown.
I love Boys Town. I love Boys Town.
I have a love-hate relationship with Boys Town, so we're gonna say I love it today.
Okay, good. So you also make wigs.
Yes.
Do you make them just for drag?
No. So what I have on my head right now is a custom. My hashtag is Creations by Kay. And that is for my clothing. That is for my hair. That is for everything like that. I am completely self-taught when it comes to hair as far as the construction of wigs. So, you know, when people get extensions, they get a weft of hair sewn into their head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So when
No,
they
I
get
was video on this,
extensions,
we're good.
when they get extensions, people will get a weft of hair. Like it's like a line. It's just hair sewn into their head.
yeah.
When you multiply that length times about like 4 or 5, that's called a bundle. And so basically what you do is you take a mesh spandex cap, put it on a canvas wig head, and you start sewing bundles going from the back up all the way to the crown, and I machine sew mine. You can hand sew them, but that's a lot of effort, and I know how to work a sewing machine. So, and I'm also lazy. So,
and honest.
I'm very. And so you sew them all the way from the top to the front, and then, are you familiar with what a lace front is? No? Okay. So wigs can either have lace in the front or they can be a hard front, which is where you see a stark line where the hair ends. We like lace fronts. We stand lace fronts, okay? Because they look more natural. You can glue them down. So you buy your lace front separate from your bundles, and that I hand sew from ear to ear on the top of the wig head. I also have a vendor that I paid a lot of money for, and I buy from my vendor, which is my supplier of wigs.
The only time I've ever even considered wearing a wig, and then I was just for a split second, was when I was going through chemo, and I was like, no.
Yeah,
no.
They are definitely, if you want them to look really nice, they're a lot of upkeep. I do custom color all of my hair. This is completely colored by me, but I typically wear blondes, and I use about 4 to 5 different colors of blonde in every wig that I have. Again, completely self-taught.
So what's the material? Like, is it hair?
Human hair.
Where do you get human hair from?
It's human.
Where do you get human hair from?
Hair salons?
So hair stores. I used to buy from Amazon. Now I buy from my wig vendor. But there's different styles of human hair. So you have your ones that are Malaysian sourced, Brazilian sourced. There's ones from China, Indonesia. Then there's raw, and so that's where the hair source is from. Then there's raw versus virgin hair. Raw hair has had nothing done to it. Your face right now. Raw hair has had absolutely nothing done to it. Virgin hair is like, so for example, if I get blonde hair, that's not raw hair because from where it's sourced, typically it's black hair. So that would fall into the virgin category where it's like it's been processed to blonde, but it's not raw. But I can still do whatever I want to it because it's still human hair.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I make wigs for everyday people as well. I have clients that I go through my, a lot of my clients that shop with me, because I'm also a personal stylist as well. So a lot of my clients that shop with me that I style wear wigs on the daily, just because they, want to feel that fantasy, and that's cool. And I make wigs for them as well. So I make wigs for literally anybody who wants a wig. They are not cheap at all. Like if someone wanted an exact recreation of this, it'd be about $450. They are not cheap. But it's what it's what you pay for.
You pay for quality.
If you're paying for quality, you're paying for the labor. I mean, you don't see a Michael Kors bag that's one of the big giant bags selling for less than like $600, do you?
Right.
And you're right. I mean, you pay for quality, and you get what you pay for what you get what you get.
Yeah. And I always offer free upkeep. If you purchase from me, I offer free upkeep. If somebody needs, if you want me to wash it, if you want me to take care of it, I offer free upkeep with any of the things that you purchase from me, and that does include clothing as well. If a queen buys a costume off of me, or I create a costume, if a seam pops, if they want it altered, if something that is they don't like about the costume, or something that happens that they want fixed on the costume, however many years go by, I will fix it for free. Now, if they want something changed about it, like if they say they bought a leotard, but they want to add a skirt to it, like I'll charge for that. But if a seam pops or if a hem comes out or something like that.
What if they just gain weight? That would be me. I'd be like, hey, can you change this? I gained a little bit of weight.
I mean, they make Jenny Craig, but I mean, I'm kidding. We do not fat shame. Considering I used to be like 250 pounds, we do not. But like if someone just like gains weight or loses weight, whatever the case may be,
you'll adjust it.
I'll adjust it. It's easier to take things in than let things out.
Sure.
So if someone loses weight and they just need to take it in, I'll do that for free. If someone gains weight and they need it let out, I will charge for that because I do have to add extra fabric.
Well, yeah, but that's a great service, and so again, they're getting what they pay for. I mean,
exactly.
That's an
exactly.
awesome way to really
Yeah.
just also like reinvest yourself in the community and like just multiple roles. That's really
Yeah.
awesome.
Exactly. So I'm what we call a very self-sufficient queen. I do everything for myself. I don't get my hair from anyone else. I make all my own hair. I do my own makeup. I create my own costumes. The only thing I don't do is make tights, but I could make tights and make shoes. I'm not a cobbler. That's a lot.
You're
all
not
right.
trying
And if
to
I
read,
was,
like,
I would be
kinky boots
Peach.
right now, basically.
Do what?
So you're not trying to redo kinky boots. Right
No,
now, basically.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not happening.
So say it again. What is your social media?
So you can find me on Instagram at Miss Ida K. That's MISSIDAKAY. Miss Ida K on Instagram. That's where I primarily post a lot. Facebook is just Ida K, IDAKAY. And yeah, you can also search me. I found this out the other day. You can search Google with my hashtag Creations by K. Yeah.
Is that for your? What is for your wigs? Do you have a separate Instagram or anything? Okay, so
nope.
just the hashtag.
Everything is just that. Everything is through my one social media. I've thought about creating a different page for my, creations, but that's a lot of work.
Oh,
And
trust me.
Remember how I said I was lazy? Like that's.
Well, and as long as the hashtag leads back to your profile, you're gaining
Yeah.
followers. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've
And I'm
got-
not afraid to say I sponsor a lot of my posts. Like, you know how on Instagram you can like sponsor it. Oh, I'll pay that. I'll pay that $6 a day for like 6 days. Yep, absolutely will. You better believe.
Well, there you go. Well, you have to do what you have to do for sure.
I am all about promotions.
Okay, so we have a segment at the end called
Okay.
Gays Ask
Oh, okay.
for
All
some
right.
random questions.
Okay, here we go.
You go first, Dave.
All right. If you could be on any reality TV show or competition, which would it be?
And why?
Well, because I'm a drag queen, I'm gonna say RuPaul's Drag. No,
come on.
actually, no. Amazing Race.
Okay, who's your partner?
I love you, babe, but not my fiance. We would drive each other crazy.
That's what
Chris
Chris just said that.
I would pick the most brawny, like stacked person I know, so that way they could do all of the physical labor. I could sit there, look pretty, and I know I'm fast. So
I'm fast.
exactly, I'm fast and I'm smart. They can be stupid and strong. That's fine. I don't care. So I don't have a person in mind, but that's the style of person I'd want to be paired with.
Okay.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. If you could have dinner with anybody, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's so hard. Oh my God. Listen, I barely passed the SAT. Okay, you can't be asking me these questions. Honestly,
You just said you were smart.
street smart. AOC.
Oh, nice.
AOC.
Okay,
Because-
Ocasio Cortez, the
Yeah.
the
Politician.
politician.
Yeah, because I would love to pick her brain.
Okay, no,
I would
absolutely.
love to pick her brain.
and
I
she would
lo-
not be shy about it.
No, and I would love to hear how she got to where she's at and how she would be, how she's so successful at such a young age. I would love to know that.
She, like you, really invested in like knowing how to market herself on social media as well as in her own community. And she made. I watched like this short. I'd call it a documentary, but it's on YouTube. But like basically, they talked about like what she did. And she like really made this push to be present in her community, very much similar to how you are in the drag community, and it's really incredible. Like how
Social
she
media
operates.
and
Yeah.
networking are the big things.
Yeah.
I'm all about that, you know. If you could have a superpower.
Oh, you get to go twice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it my turn? I thought it was
Fine.
my
I didn't know
turn.
that's how we were playing.
Yeah, we are.
Fine, you know.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Ooh, invisibility.
And what would your name be if you were a superhero?
I feel like Miss Ida K
Miss I-
fits.
IDK.
Just
Oh, there you go.
IDK.
All right.
IDK, what my name would be.
All right, go ahead. Last one for you.
All right. Pressure's on. I was between two. Okay, pick one or two.
I like even numbers, so 2.
Okay, perfect. So you're about to do pageant drag.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, I failed the many times I did it, so let's do it.
Okay, but you have to dress as a famous female performer from before 2000. Who do you dress up as? I've been really waiting for a drag queen to come on this show. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Oh, God. Oh God, what's her name? Bald.
Sinead O'Connor?
That one.
Really?
That one.
Okay.
That one, because she was problematic in all the right ways.
I love it.
Yeah?
She was a little crazy. She could sing her ass off, and she was not afraid to look weird.
Yeah.
It's true.
That one, yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, ask your other one. You had two of them. What was your other question?
Yeah, I want to know what your other one was.
I do
Don't keep
too.
this from me.
I do too.
Well, the other one now feels lame.
Well,
That's
I'm
okay.
lame, so it's fine.
It's all right.
You're not lame. You had a great interview. What the hell? We've all been sitting here in the same room.
Mine
I'm
was
trying to make you feel better. Ask the question.
number one. What was it?
Okay, so it's gonna be so lame. Okay, so you have to pick between having a tail
Oh gosh.
Uh-huh.
or having no, it's changed.
Oh,
It's
okay.
changed. Or having super stretchy arms.
Tail.
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 Everybody picks tail.
I would love to hang upside down.
Everybody.
But super,
sounds like- and also-
super stretchy arms.
Everybody
is
wants a
so-
tail.
Listen,
Yeah.
we're not trying to go gadget our way into life, okay? So, and I'm a huge gamer nerd. Like, real quick, I'm a huge gamer nerd. And I
Loving
love
it.
Final Fantasy.
Okay.
And my favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy 9. And when Zidane had the tail and he would just hang down from the ceiling, just impart on anyone's conversation, I would love to just be hanging up there and just pop down and be like, what you talking about? Like, that ideal tail.
See, it wasn't that
Absolutely.
lame of a
Everybody
question
wants
afterwards.
a tail, though. You realize
Yeah.
every time it doesn't matter what I switch it up with. Everybody wants a
Fine,
tail.
I would love super stretchy
No, you
arms
get
so I
the
could reach
tail.
across this table and just put my hand over your mouth right now. There we go.
Tail could do the same thing.
We appreciate You could whip him in the mouth with tail. We appreciate you coming on so much. It's
course.
been such a pleasure.
Of course, thank you so much for having me. Anytime you need me, I'm here. Mostly
Love
because
it.
I'm just bored.
I mean, and you don't always have to come in day dark, but I genuinely did appreciate that.
Oh, you'll probably get me every time. You'll probably get me every time. We'll see how weird I can be next time. I'll be fine. Of
Well, you are beautiful, and we appreciate it.
course,
I
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thank you so much.
If you guys want to be on our show, you can contact us at www.laughs.life.
You can also follow us on our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't even want to talk about it.
I love Instagram. It's my favorite.
Instagram, it's for when you're tired. And then YouTube and TikTok. I ruined that whole thing.
Yeah, you can watch us on on YouTube, so make sure you do that.
This has been Gays of Our Lives. Make sure to check out the gays online at www.laughs.life.